Commission Chair, Commissioner Summers, had some medical items going on today. We wish him a quick recovery, and hopefully we'll see him back here in a couple weeks. We will go ahead and begin with an invocation by Commissioner Hadfield, and our auditor will lead us in the pledge, Tom Cotter.
My Father in heaven, we're grateful that we could gather today and grateful for the many blessings that we do enjoy. Father, we're grateful for this great land and for the opportunities that are afforded us. And please bless us this day as we go through our items on the agenda, that we might be able to make those decisions which would be best for the citizens of this county. Father, we're grateful for those who serve in our armed services and in our law enforcement and fire. Please bless them and help them. And Father, please bless those around the country who are struggling and mourning from some of the shootings and tragedies that are taking place, and please comfort and bless them. Again, Father, we're thankful for this land and the opportunities that it affords us, and please help us to continue to move things forward, and we pray for these things humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, gentlemen. Okay. Did you receive a copy of the minutes?
I did.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes from November 3rd, 2021.
I'll second that. Have them.
Yeah. Did you want us to do them individually? Oh, okay. Then I'll also approve the minutes for November 17th, 2021 as well.
And I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Yep. Okay, any former agenda items we need to cover?
Not that I can think of.
I can't either. Emergency management, just a brief COVID update. We had that with Bear River Health Department this morning. Logan Hospital was reporting 9 hospitalizations in their facility. That was IHC. 6 were intensive care, 2 were regular beds, and 1 was in a transition unit. Just about fully recovered and on their way home. The numbers have went down pretty dramatically over the last couple of weeks as far as positive tests. And we're hoping that that will stay the case, although we expect it to go up. We typically see a pretty good spike after Thanksgiving and going into the holidays. So we're hoping that the numbers, next week, after a good full week of spreading it around Thanksgiving, aren't that case. But
Did they make any mention of the Omicron
they did
variant?
It's another variant. It's similar to other variants that we see on other viruses, and this one does have more proteins on it, but that doesn't necessarily make it more lethal or necessarily more contagious. Although most variants are more contagious, that's how the viruses continue to spread and to be out there, is by adapting and becoming more contagious. One of the epidemiologists up at the U of U compared it to living in an area that's prone to hurricanes. He says, yeah, you obviously prepare and you worry about it, but you still continue to go about your day-to-day activities. And he says we need to, kind of do the same thing with this. So, but that's where we're at. So the numbers of folks that are vaccinated are continuing to go up. It is available for the younger age, 5 to 11 now, and the booster is also available if people would like that. So there you have it. Okay, we will move right into our agenda items. 508. This one was an environmental review record. This is for a broadband grant in Bothwell. This was something that Commissioner Summers had on here. I don't know anything more than that. I don't know if there is an environmental review that is in process. for the area where this broadband infrastructure is going to go. So my thought is, unless it's time sensitive, maybe we table this until the second meeting.
It's mainly for him to sign this
Yeah,
application.
to have to,
Okay.
so we can get the
Just a
application done.
signature? Okay,
Because we've already published.
So
all right.
I'd make a motion, we approve the environment review record for broadband, for the broadband grant in Bothwell.
And this is just to keep it on track and get it going?
Mhm.
Okay, I'll second that. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And let's see, Mr. Cotter, on our ARPA funds application for Bragg.
Yeah, Tom recognized that we needed to formally approve
Have this
so
on the
he put it
agenda?
Put it on the agenda for us.
The county has an application out there for any entity, person, whoever would like to request funds from the American Recovery Plan Act, the ARPA. The Bear River Association of Governments has submitted an application. It was for $1.5 million to be used to conduct engineering and permitting for the deployment of last mile infrastructure to bring high-speed internet service to underserved rural communities. $500,000 of this will be used to match a $400,000 community development block grant award to Box Elder County for deployment of fiber optic in the Bothwell community. $1 million will be made available to match future state and federal grants for broadband internet service expansion. They're also requesting additional $200,000 to be invested in a regional growth planner as staff support for Bragg and Box Elder County, and additional $90,000 for counseling and child care to families in Box Elder County, which would be used at the Family Support Center. So that is their application, their request. I'm just asking that if the commissioner's on board with this, that we have a formal approval of the funds.
Do you have any questions on that, Commissioner Scott?
I don't. I know that this was something that's been in the works for some time, even before the ARPA funds came out. It was something that was being looked at even during CARES Act, and then with the advent and where this was one of the things that you could specifically use ARPA for, it seemed like
Yeah.
a good fit. So, no, I'm
Okay.
good.
Yeah, and with the
Yeah, so
matching
that's a good
funds.
clarification that, so the ARPA funds that were provided, they kind of give three areas, and one specifically is, as Commissioner Scott mentioned, is for broadband infrastructure. So it definitely fits.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll make a motion that we approve the ARPA fund application for Bragg.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. You're still on, Mr. Cotter. We aren't ready for our public hearing to start until 5:15, but we can move on to these other three items if we
Perfect.
like.
The next item, it's the annual thing that we have. A lot of times Chrissy is the one who runs point on this. I'm just doing it this year. So we have a contract with the state of Utah for predator control. The part that the county is responsible is $11,400. We enter into a contract with the state for that, and the state will actually reimburse us that cost. The wool growers in the community, they also are planning to raise $11,400. So we send $22,800 into the predator control fund, which is managed, run in a joint effort between the USDA and the wool growers of Utah. They kind of run it together and such. But anyway, so this is just a contract. We sign it every year. I just need a commissioner's signature approving us to enter into it for this year.
Okay. Well,
Do we have a contract number on that one? It's not like there's a lack of things that need signatures this year or this meeting.
This one. I don't know that it's been assigned a number, but I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
Number 5.
5? So like, it's
21 dash.
your account number, 5?
Yeah, it's 21 dash something.
87.
Let's just call it PC for predator control.
21 PC.
That's right.
Yeah, for another 4 minutes.
We could go to the other things while she looks that up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that okay, Marla? So, the next item, so obviously the county runs the justice court. How the state code calls it out. So like, for example, when Brigham comes over there and prosecutes cases, any revenue fines that we receive, currently they're split 55-45. Because the county entered into an agreement with Brigham City to do that. State code only calls out we do it 50-50. At the time that we made the adjustment, Brigham was threatening to leave the justice court to start their own. So back when this happened, the commissioners at that time made the decision of let's split it differently in order to try to appease Brigham City to maybe stay with the county justice court. So they're the only entity that receives that higher split. Everyone else is 50-50. It's kind of a pain. The system that the justice court uses, Chorus, it cannot split revenues 55-45. The court administrator, when I contacted him back years ago about it, he's like, why would you ever do that? You don't have to. We never anticipated anyone splitting it differently. So we have to do it all manually. We do the calculation manually in my office. It hasn't been a problem. So we're in a contract with Brigham City. It requires us, if we were to change it, to just terminate the contract, it requires a year's notice. I would advocate to the commissioners, you don't have to make a decision tonight, that we cancel that agreement, that we go back to the 50-50 split with Brigham City. But it's completely your call. It's just one of those things I look at every year through budget.
Well,
So on this, is it an annualized contract or does it go from May 18th? It looks like it was done on May 18th of 2011 and has just been in place ever since.
Yeah, so all it says is we just have to give them a year's notice. So I
Okay.
would say we just say, since we're a calendar year, if we
And
were to
they're-
terminate,
Yeah.
just say, hey, of January 1 of 2023, the county is no longer going to split the revenue 55-45. We're going to return to the state code
and
mandated
if they decide they
50-50.
want to walk, then they can go.
Well, because we don't do that in Mandaway. We don't do that in other
Manaway does their own
jurisdictions.
justice court, but
Right. Yeah.
so like the ones that come here, so Perry, we get some Elwood, it's the state, Parks. I mean, it's a whole big spread of folks, so.
Okay. Well, from a consistency standpoint, as well as the system and staff time. So, okay.
Okay.
I can do the next thing in 2 minutes.
Can we?
What's that number, Marla?
21-32.
-32. Okay, let me go ahead and make a motion on the predator control contract, the USDA contract number 21-32 for approval.
I would second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Can we just kick the Justice Court revenue forward to the next meeting? Now that we've got the information on it, Commissioner Summers will be back. I mean, it would make sense to do it at the next meeting because then we could have something go out in the final 2 weeks of the year, and then it could potentially take place, like you mentioned, on January of 2023, so that it's an annual thing. Otherwise, you'd be splitting 55-45 for a few months and then going back, which would be even worse. Okay. All right.
So do we want to table that one?
Yeah, that was more just informational.
Okay.
There was no action
All right.
requested.
We are close. Okay, it is 5:15, so we will officially open our public hearing for the county budget for 2022. Do you want to go back to that now, Tom, or do you want to do the last item and then we
Let's
can go
just do the
back?
last item so I don't have to sit back down.
Okay.
It's very
Makes sense.
selfish. I
No,
apologize.
it makes sense.
So the last item, it's just to make sure that we stay in compliance with what the tax commission has asked us to do. At the last commission meeting, the commissioners, you voted, is voted the right word? You approved tax forgiveness for the Bighorn Holding LLC. After reviewing some of the tax commission's guidelines and such, I thought it'd probably be better to bring it back to the commissioners, get your Herbie Hancock's on the documents, and then I am required after this to notice it in the paper, and then also to send a notice down to the tax commission letting them know that we have forgiven taxes, penalties, interest. On this one, it was just penalties and
Penalties.
interest.
Yeah, I was gonna
Interest.
say, I didn't think it was any taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So we just need signatures on that. There's nothing. Okay.
formally to approve.
Oh, I guess there's also, when we do these, we need to state why it was in the best interest of the county, state, and the landowner to do it. So that would also be a requirement that we need from the commissioners to state why it was in the best interest of the county to waive the penalties and interest.
Okay.
You gave him something fun.
One was double-sided, did you catch that?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, that one's double-sided.
Okay. And did you want to, do you have a preference, Tom? Would you rather go over the budget prior to the public comment or after? What's your preference?
It's usually probably better for the public that I present so
Before.
they have the information to speak
Okay.
to it, but.
That'd be great, yeah. So the public hearing is open, but we will go ahead and let Mr. Cotter present the final info on this, and then we'll open it up for any public comment.
It's probably not gonna work, even after we just tested it, but. I can tell a joke.
Please.
What sounds do porcupines make when they kiss? Ouch. First one's free.
All right.
You're hired for the Christmas party.
We won't subject people to that. So it did work previously, but now it's not. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Maybe. Keeps watching it, laughing at me. So I Someone's living right. It was Mara texting Keith that took care of it.
gets upstairs.
All right, so for this year, there is going to be a link on the county's website on the auditor tab that anyone could come to this webpage and look at the different things that we'll talk about tonight. So this is available completely to the public. So if they wanted to come and understand more about, hey, how is the county, what is the organization of the county like? So in reality, you have the county commissioners who have direct supervision over the different department heads in the county. They do not have direct supervision over other elected officials. However, they do have oversight of the budget on other elected officials. So there is a check and balance there. So if people were just curious, couldn't sleep, and really needed a reason to evaluate their priorities in life, they could come to this website and look at anything. But it's also good information that, if you're curious, on the department tab, you can come and find the department that you're curious about, of like, hey, what is the auditor's office budget? What are they really doing? So for 2022 in the auditor's office, in my office, there's a $742,000 budget. There's been a pretty large bump from the previous year. You can scroll down and see different, like, all right, how are they spending the money? So you can kind of see, hey, it looks like the majority of Tom's expenses reside in his personnel and their benefits. You could look at all that fun stuff. And if you were really curious, you could click on the breakdown. It would actually give you the different line items that go into my budget. And it would show you, all right, through 2021, this is what he's actually spent. This is what his budgeted was. And then here's his budget for 2022. And it shows you the increase or decrease on the line item by line item. And so with that one, you could come in and you could pick any department in the county that you had a question about. So whatever it was.
And Tom, they're going to see that across the board pretty much, right, as far as personnel goes?
Yeah, so the fair cost, so like if you had a question about the fair, hey, what is the county spending money on the fair? What's that budget for? You would just go and pick the budget. So, department, I mean. But as far as an overview of the budget, you can come and look at the executive overview of the county's budget. And so for 2022, the budget for Box Elder County is the $831,213 million is the budget of Box Elder County for 2022. The RDA has a budget of $3,592,000. So the total between the two entities would be the $48,423,000. So you can kind of see it's in government for the accounting world. We live in funds. So every fund is kind of its own little different silo. And in those funds, different departments will reside depending on what their function is. The general fund, it's the main operating fund of the county. That's where the majority of the offices are found, the majority of the offices in this building. Anything related to the corrections side of the jail will be found in the general fund. Municipal Service Fund, that is the fund that the county uses to provide municipal type services to unincorporated county. So that is where the fire department resides, community planning, the building inspectors, they're all in that fund. And the other funds, they're kind of explanatory by their names. Tourism, that is where the fairgrounds, fair, and travel tourism departments reside. The library is the bookmobile. So you can kind of go by and look at what funds is happening in which fund, what is happening in each fund. So the general fund for 2022 is the one that there is a concern with. You can see the large surplus deficit that it's anticipated to run, the $3.7 million. A lot of that is due to how the county budgets. We budget very much worst case scenario. Expenses are high, revenues are low. So in the past, we've always had that large number. We've never come close to it. And hopefully that trend continues. But if everything were to go how the budget would say, worst case scenario, the county would use $3.7 million of its fund balance to bring it into a balanced budget. The state of Utah requires counties and governments to operate within a budget balance, a balanced budget. Let me flip that around. So that all these, anytime it shows a surplus or a deficit, if it's a surplus, the fund balance is going to grow. We're going to actually contribute so that in future years, that fund will have money available to them for different things. If there's a deficit, any fund that has a deficit listed, there is sufficient fund balance to carry, to make it balanced for this year. Some of the bigger things that reside in each fund, we are anticipating for 2022 to collect $9.25 million in property taxes. The municipal fund, it also levies a tax, and that's only on unincorporated residents for $925,000, and that is to help pay for those services they receive that are municipal type in their nature. The library, the bookmobile, they also levy a tax, and that is only on residents' parcels that do not have a municipal library tied into them. Like when I lived in Perry, I paid this tax because Perry does not have municipal library service. Now I live in Brigham, I do not contribute to this because I am part of Brigham's library system. As Commissioner Hadfield alluded to, the main driver in all of the county's budgets is its personnel. And in this budget, there is a 5% COLA. And then we have also increased different positions throughout the county. So you can see on this one that we are adding more employees. And then also the commissioners have decided for 2022 to also hire a consultant to come in and do a compensation study to make sure employees are being paid correctly and that they're receiving what they should for the jobs they're performing. So that is kind of the overview, the very high overview. You can come and look at different funds, how they function. So as we talked about, this is where the general fund is. The county's anticipating, again, to take the certified tax rate for 2022. We can't raise taxes in 2022. So the highest we can take is the certified tax rate. The county continues to be debt-free. There are no plans to issue any new debt in 2022. So that's the kind of the last thing if people usually have interest is kind of the larger purchases that we're anticipating. The county has received a large amount of money from the feds for the ARPA funding. It's anticipated we'll receive a total of around $11 million, just under it. And with that, we're allowed to use it for certain activities, purchases that qualify. So with that, we are anticipating in this room to do a audiovisual revamp to allow us to stream meetings so that people can watch from homes and have access to different things. The county has purchased the old American First Credit Union. We're going to move the motor vehicle department over there so they have a
Drive-through.
That's the word, drive-through. So we anticipate spending $425,000 to remodel that building to bring it to where we want. One of the other things that we're going to be rolling out for the public is we're going to create a capital projects page so that the public could come and look and say, all right, I want to know more about that DMV building project. So each project will have a page associated with it where the public can come and look and see, all right, what exactly are they doing? So you can see, hey, it's going to be a major remodel of this building. This is what's included in it. Today was the day they actually opened the bids for it. So you can click and see what the bid packet is that the county has put out for people to respond to. And you can see, hey, we're in the reviewing proposal phase. And then if you have questions or comments, people can submit right here. So this is one of the things we'll be rolling out for all of our capital projects so people are aware of it. So another big project that we're going to undertake with the ARPA funding is out at the fairgrounds where the Lions Club cook shack is, not a shack, but the concession area. There's going to be a major remodel taking place there with restrooms and a new concession area. Budget for that is that $770,000. And you can look through this and see the different fundings that we're using. So the county also has a capital improvement project fund where we've kind of saved money, whether it be from PILT or different things where we've kind of saved some money for our larger projects. In there, we anticipate we're going to buy some more vehicles. Hopefully, vehicles will become available that we can purchase. It's been a crazy world that we live in now. But the anticipation is that we will be getting some new vehicles for the sheriff's office to stay on track of our rotation for them. And then those old vehicles will be sold. And that funding from the sale will just go right back into that fund. We also are going to update some of the vehicles in our motor pool. For those, the county is going to use a lease that we have. And then also we are going to spend $50,000 to kind of develop a site plan at the jail. There's some there's wants that we're needing there to make it a little more secure, putting in fences, bring it more in compliance with what the state is asking us to do. If we're to have state inmates there for work crews, there's some requirements that we need to meet. And so we're going to develop a site plan just to make sure that we don't get the carriage in front of the horse, that things are done in an order that makes sense, that we don't do something and then 2 years later realize, crap, we got to rip that down. So that is the hope there. And we're anticipating that to be a project that will be achieved within the next two to 3 years as we roll that out. Fire continues to expand their capabilities of building brush trucks. They use money that they have with the state. When our fire department goes and fights state fires, we are paid for that. We're paid depending on what type of truck goes, what type of personnel goes. We have a contract with them. And the fire department, they kind of save that money, put it away so that they can get needed equipment for their department and other departments throughout the county to respond to our fires. It's both good and bad. This past year, we didn't have that bad of a fire year, which is great, but it means that we don't have that much money in our MOU account. So, but we would rather have no fires than the money. You can go through and look at the different sources there. But really that's the county's budget as we go. The RDA is the redevelopment agency of Box Elder County. In it, there are different project areas that the RDA participates in. We have the Procter & Gamble project area. And then we also have the Plymouth project area. I need a mouse for this. My fingers are too fat. I'll just go over here. So anyway, the Ag Park, it is no longer an active project area. 2021 was its last year. So it will not go forward into future years. It will come off as a RDA project area, and that value that exists there will now roll back into the different taxing entities. So the county, the school district, Corinne, Water Conservancy District, they'll be getting some new growth off of that project area. So the P&G project area, there are two actual different project areas that exist out there. We have the main structure of P&G, and then also they've added a new product line building out there. I don't know what the best way to classify that, but
New division, yeah.
new division. And so anytime there's a project area, the RDA enters into a participation agreement with the businesses there. It's very much a post-performance participation agreement. So Procter & Gamble, they are required to have so many employees at such a wage, and they are required to have X amount of capital infrastructure, of taxable value. And if they meet all of those qualifications, the RDA has entered into a participation agreement with them to provide a financial incentive to them to be here in our county. So that exists with P&G. The RDA also uses a large share of its tax increment to pay a debt service that Brigham City has to get water out to P&G. So the county has an agreement with Brigham City to satisfy any debt related to this project. The other project that the county is currently participating in, that is active is the Plymouth Economic Development Area. That is out there right where Great Basin is. They're one of the participating entities. And that was in order to get in more infrastructure right there off the freeway and to enhance the tax base of the county. So you can see none of these have they don't have any type of deficit or surplus. They just run from the funds that they generate within their own project area. They don't go and get funds from anyone else. They have to survive on what they're generating themselves. So with that confusion and that explanation, that was just amazing. I guess the commissioners have any clarification they want to make on the budget, but, oh, I saw that there. So the elected officials, this is the salaries for the upcoming year. You can see them all on there. Whoops, didn't mean to cross that off. So the assessor, the auditor, the clerk, the recorder, the treasurer, we all make the same for next year. It will be $94,403. The county attorney will make the $138,437. Commissioners, all three of them receive the same at $55,570. Judge Christensen at the Justice Court, he will be paid $124,584. The sheriff, his pay for 2022 will be $102,987. So the elected officials, they receive the cost of living adjustment, just like all the other employees of the county. But yeah, so that's it. We're kind of holding steady, but it's the personnel costs just continue to drive everything. County's concerned with the living in the world of COVID, how that's impacted us through supply chain issues, inflation, having employees available to us. It's been a challenge, and we anticipate it to continue to be a challenge for the upcoming year. So with that, questions, comments from the...
We've lost a number of qualified personnel in strategic areas, and it's really hard to fill some of those with salaries because you're competing against the private sector, and it's a challenge.
This is the first year since I've been in office that inflation has been anywhere close to where it's at right now. CPI in May was just under 6%, and that's usually the number that we use, and that's by far the highest that I've seen it. I think that's the highest that it's been in close to 20 plus years in the country, and so it's tough. And we're sitting at just over 2% unemployment. And so you kind of have two edges on that sword. But no, Tom and his office do a wonderful job of keeping up with the budget and keeping us straight. So we appreciate their work on this. So do you have any other questions or comments, Commissioner?
I don't. I just like say, I reiterate what you said. Tom's office does a great job at keeping things in check and letting us know where things are at, keeping us up to date on it. So,
okay.
So as far as how this works now, so tonight we have a public hearing to receive input from the public on the proposed budget. No action is taken tonight. We still, if there's concerns that the commissioners have with things they've seen or heard tonight, we can still make changes. We will adopt the budget at our next meeting. But so tonight is strictly just to receive input from the public on the proposed budgets.
I just had one question from Wasatch Front Regional Council. They just wanted to make sure that their amount was included in there. So I told them I'm sure it was, but we'll check on the exact number before we approve next meeting. So, all right. Very good. The public hearing is open. If you would like to make any comment regarding the 2022 county budget, please come up at this time. Please limit your comments to the topic at hand, strictly the budget for 2022, and limit those comments to 3 minutes, and the time is now yours.
Okay, Deanna Hardy. I oppose your 2022 budget of 53 million, which was reported in the newspaper. I oppose it as I have opposed your budget the last 10 years. The county budget in 2008 was 22 million plus. In 14 years, you have increased the budget by 31 million if you approve the 2022 budget of 53 million, as reported in the newspaper. Commissioner Stan Summers, when he first ran for office, he stated, "It's time for government to get by on less. It's time for government to make those same tough decisions." His words have not matched his actions or your decisions. Our county does not have a revenue problem, it has a spending problem. You spent over $500,000 for the America First Bank building. Now you're going to remodel it, so you will spend even more. We don't need a drive-through building or another building to have a drive-through area because a lot of people are doing their transactions online. You spent over $200,000 for a home for the Children's Justice Center, which you are remodeling now too. You spent over, on the Justice Center, the government programs are not working. We need to go to the private sector where you have competition and you have better service and you'll have less cost. Also, you spent over $1 million for the bookmobile building to house the bookmobile, what are they, trucks? This bookmobile, the library, should go back to the private sector. So we are not forced to pay for others' reading material or forced to pay for inappropriate books we do not approve of. We should also not be taking ARPA money from the federal government. The federal government was never delegated authority to hand out money to cities and counties. This program is unconstitutional. Again, I ask, and on the salaries, I've been watching the salaries and they keep going up. We need to remember that these elected positions are service positions and you shouldn't be making more than what the average person makes here in the county. Your wages are going ever so high and it's not the right direction. So again, I ask you to restore our government back to its limited and proper role and reduce the size and cost of our local government. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak to the budget?
I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. We close the hearing for the 2022 budget.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I won't tell.
He's watching.
Thanks again, Tom.
Yeah.
There may be a couple of minor,
Yeah, there always is.
you got the number that I sent over from Rob
Yeah.
at Bear Mental Health. That was a small tweak. And then I think WFRC was about the same.
Yeah. If
So-
they're the same, we should have.
It was a slight change. I think it was 13.5, and I think it may have been 12.7 prior. So, okay. All right.
Thank you,
Very good.
Tom.
Thanks, sir. All right. Jill.
Sure. Commissioners.
Good to see you.
Jill Jepson with Bear River Water Conservancy District, and I'm here to ask the commissioners to appoint a couple new board members to our board. And I sent you some information. I hope you saw it.
Did.
Okay.
Pull that up. I've got a lot of stuff in here. So let's see, one was for Brigham City,
Yes,
and then the other one was for
Bothwell,
Bothwell.
Thatcher and Howell
Okay.
area. For the Bothwell area, we only had one submission, and that was from Joe Summers. And the district would be pleased to have him on the board.
And then from
Then
Brigham,
from
I don't know if I
Brigham
missed
City.
something. I only saw one on that as well.
There was two. There was Mayor-elect DJ Bott,
Uh-huh.
and then also a citizen, Dean Lester, applied for that, and I attached that. Did you see that? I have the front letter that he sent here with me.
Let's see. Okay.
Typically, this position has been an elected official from Brigham City.
Right.
We would be happy to have either one on the board, so we'd like the commission to make that decision.
Okay. Yeah, just gonna pull that up quick.
It was on the 24th when I sent that, if that helps you find it.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. I read through there. I'm just trying to see. Okay, it may not have come up. I probably checked it on my phone and it just didn't come up the same, so,
Oh,
okay. But yeah, I did see the others. Okay, here we go. All right. And their terms would start on January 1st.
yes.
Okay.
January 1st, 2022 for a 4-year term.
Here's my thought. I didn't catch Mr. Lester's. I just caught Mayor-elect Bott's. I saw that, and so I was under the impression that there was just the one. I did see Joe's on there, and he's the only one, and I know him, and I think he'd do a great job. My thought would be that we could approve that one, and then maybe make sure that we've all read on the other two, and do that at our next meeting. That would still get it done before January 1.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I would entertain a motion in that
So-
case.
I'll make a motion, we approve Joe Summers for the Bothwell area and that we postpone or table the Brigham City delegate until next meeting.
I'll second that. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I'll be
Thanks,
back.
Jill. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you.
I've got this here, and we'll have Commissioner Summers back by then, hopefully, and we can get that knocked out, so. Okay. Thank you. And then if you'll remind me at our next meeting, I got a bunch of information from WFRC and some other folks on some changes that have been made for infrastructure grants, both city, county, state, regional, and they're for broadband, water, sewer, and transportation. So, okay, I'll get that. Okay, thank you. This next one, this one's another one from Commissioner Summers. I'm not sure if he wants us to sign off on this.
Yeah.
I remember getting a copy of this.
I'm not as familiar with this one.
So this was something that came out from Governor Cox, and it was a letter that was sent to the Biden administration regarding their 30 for 30 initiative. So basically what they want is they want to conserve 30% of the land and water by 2030. It's a pretty lengthy letter. I believe it's at least 8 to 10 pages. And it goes into, pretty specific detail. It's even longer than that. It's about 15 pages, 17 pages. And it goes into detail about why we're opposed to this, that we really don't need to have more land under federal control in the state. And so I guess my suggestion would be to maybe table this for the next meeting as well. Give us a chance to talk with Commissioner Summers and see if he has some additional info on this.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that that's what it is maybe signing
Okay.
our support on this.
I'll make a motion, we table this 30 for 30 initiative.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I went through it briefly, and there's some good information in there, but
Mm-hmm.
I think Chairman Summers may have a little bit more on that. So the next item is our meeting schedules for 2022. And again, we are on the first Wednesday of each month, an evening meeting, administrative session starting at 5 or at 4:45, and then the meeting starting at 5. The third Wednesday, we start at 11:15, our administrative session, and then we start at 11:30 for our meeting. And that will be the schedule. Again, we also have our Planning Commission at 7 on the third Thursday, elected official meeting on the fourth Thursday at 11. Bureau of Association of Governments is the fourth Tuesday of every other month at 1. And then Special Service District Mineral Lease is at 5 p.m. Quarterly, beginning in March. County Library Board, they are quarterly as needed to be determined. And then redevelopment agencies, we have those during our commission meeting or following as needed. So that is the presented schedule. Typically, the only changes on that is if there's an outside conflict, maybe with the fair or a conference that we're all attending, and then we'll make arrangements.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve the meeting schedule for 2022.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The next one is our landfill holidays and our county holidays that will be observed. It's pretty much the same as this year. Nothing's changed as far as the holidays that we're observing. There might be a slight change on the days. If they happen to fall on a Saturday or Sunday, then they're observed on the prior or the next day. So the county landfill, the days are just a little bit different. They work on some days that not everybody else does to keep things open for the public. So
Did you want Gina to say anything about that, or you good?
how'd we do?
Okay.
I think we're great.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion, we approve the county holidays and landfill holidays for 2022.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Lyons. Finally to this is Snag subdivision.
Yeah, we made it.
Okay.
All right, this one is located approximately 5,000 west, 12,800 north. So it's in the kind of just south of Fielding, north of Highway 30, but south of Fielding, directly, what would it be, east of the church there on 12,800. So the request is for an agricultural subdivision to separate a single-family dwelling from the rest of the agricultural land. And it has been through the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission approved their certificate that gets recorded with the deed. And then because just the way state code reads, it requires anytime there's a single-family dwelling associated with the agricultural split, it requires that the county commission approve that aspect of it. So that comes with the recommendation of approval.
Okay. Do you know what the acreage is on the split?
Off the top of my head, I do not.
Or at least 5 acres on the ag section?
Yes, the
Okay.
ag section, I'm trying to remember, it's something like 16, 18 acres, and then the house is, I think around an acre, if I remember correctly.
No, that's what I vaguely remember from the planning commission. I just always want to make sure
Yeah.
because that's a big deal. So, okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the Astle Agricultural Subdivision Ordinance 546.
I'll second that. Have a motion and a second for the Astle Ag subdivision. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thanks, Scott.
See, our 537, I think that's probably 557 or something along those
553.
lines, 553. Is that
That
what it
one
is?
skipped.
Okay. That one's been postponed, so. All right, Corinne City request for an ambulance. Tiffany and anybody else?
We have 2 surplus ambulances that we were gonna,
Make sure you state it for Marla, just in the mic, so that she's got your names and everything recorded.
we have 2 surplus ambulances coming out of Park Valley and Grouse Creek. We've replaced them this year, and so they need to be auctioned off or donated to another entity to help with their progression with things. Corinne City has come to us and asked if we would donate one of them to Corinne City because they're going to eventually be running the ambulance. And this is Vaughn, he's the assistant chief.
Yeah, my name is Vaughn Sorensen, the assistant chief with Corinne, and we came to the assumption that when we have a vehicle go down, we had to borrow from the county to run our ambulance, our squad, which is a first responder unit. So we borrowed one from the county until ours was fixed. We don't want that to happen again, to have to borrow. So that's why we're here asking for a donation for one of your ambulances to help with that situation if it ever arises again. We have had increased in calls volume in Corinne City. We expect that to continue with the more houses that are going to be built and stuff like that, industry out there. If we're out on a call with one squad, we would like to have another one for a backup. So we can, instead of running an engine, we run another squad or a second squad.
Yeah, I was out there with Dennis Noyes and did a tour. Oh, it's been about a year ago. You guys have quite a few folks out there, so you could accommodate 2 different squads.
Absolutely.
The only question I would have is compliance with surplus property. We either need to auction it off for the best interest of the county or donate it to an entity that still benefits the area. Okay. I love the idea. I look at the number of calls that you're responding to as I spoke with Mayor Merkley, not too long ago, and there's a lot happening in
Yeah.
Corinne.
Yeah,
So
and it's not going to stop. It's going to keep.
No.
I mean, we've seen it everywhere, and every community in Box Elder County is growing,
Yeah.
so it's not going to stop.
no, I like the idea. I can't see a better place to go. So
Yeah. I think it's a great idea. As long as, like you say, we're in compliance with that, then, and Tom's given me the nod that we are, so. I'd make a motion that we, apply or give Corinne City the request for the ambulance to be donated.
I would second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Enjoy your
Yeah.
ambulance.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't get used much, but no, it will.
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate
Great.
it.
Thanks, Tiff.
Thanks, you guys.
Yep.
I'll put the Tacoma.
All right, Jenica. Kind of anxious to hear this one.
Well, it's not going to be super exciting. So it's come to our attention that under the ARPA, we need to designate certain staff as essential employees. So we bring before you Resolution 21-15 that essentially designates all county employees as essential. The one department that you will not find on here right now is economic development. There's also no one working in that department right now. So other than that, the rest of the departments are on here. We need to justify why they're essential. So that's in here. The section of the ARPA funding is referenced in each paragraph per department, showing how those relate to why they are essential.
Okay.
So,
No, these were the conversations that I believe that we had with Johnny Miller, and he mentioned that anything should come directly out of the ARPA guidelines. So, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
if it's
All
out
right.
there, so.
I'll make a motion we approve Resolution 21-15, essential employees.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, very good.
Thanks, Jenica.
I do need a signature on that resolution. Marla, how would you like to handle that? It has Stan's name on it.
Hey, Gina,
It can be
can we have you stay after class for just a minute? Okay. We've got a closed session that may directly impact you. After our RDA, we do need to go into an RDA meeting.
Are you okay to sign this resolution?
Oh, yeah.
Will you send me a copy of that tomorrow? Does it need an attest?
There you go.
Let's see. So am I just supposed to sign over the top right there? Just sign over the top right there?
Yeah.
Because that's Marla? Okay.
That's great. All right, very good. We do not have a PowerPoint, I believe, for the RDA meeting, but we'll go ahead and kick into that. So, okay.
Do you need any motions for that? To move meetings? Okay,
Just to close
Just
it.
to close it.
okay.
We got a couple of minutes on here
Just checking.
to approve, right?
What's that?
We have a couple of minutes to approve on here.
Yeah, there was one change on one of the minutes.
Okay.
See if I can find that one. I think it was the August 18th. Yeah. There was one slight change I noticed on there. I do that every once in a while just to prove that I actually read the minutes, Marla. How's that? Okay. Okay. We'll go ahead and open our RDA meeting, December 1st, 2021. We did have two minutes on there from August 18th of 2021 and October 20th of 2021. I did notice on the one from August 18th, there at the end, just before adjournment, I thanked everybody for their efforts in bringing hydroelectric power to Box Elder. It should be solar. Yeah, I didn't do anything with water. It's just solar.
Maybe
I don't
you
know.
foresaw something.
Yeah. Freudian slip. We were talking Bear River Water Project. So
Okay.
other than that, it looked good.
All right. I'll make a motion we approve the minutes from August 18th, 2021 with that change that Commissioner Scott just mentioned, and then the approval of October 20th, 2021.
And I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, very good. I just have one item on the agenda tonight on the RDA, and it is an agreement 2106. It's a coal to carbon fiber program. And so what this is it's a partnership with the University of Utah, and it's funding that would go to help. You know what? You actually know more about this than I do. Do you, Commissioner Hadfield?
Well, I just helped submit for the grant, but there was some matching money that you could get through the University of Utah to do this. And so the coal to carbon fiber program was going to be of benefit, and it possibly with some ramifications where we could actually partner with some of our local businesses in doing some things as well in the future. So as we looked at this, it seemed like a good fit for our county, for our area. So that's what that agreement is for.
Yeah, this had some applicability with, I believe it was Northrop Grumman,
Yes,
and who else? Possibly
possibly,
Autoliv,
yeah,
and as well as the UAS
yes, the
with
U.S.
a lot
drones.
of those. So, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the funding. This is a contract to partner up with U of U and have them do that. So,
So I'll make a motion, we approve the agreement number 21-06, coal to carbon fiber program.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Make a motion, we adjourn from our RDA meeting.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go into a closed session for,
This one is to discuss a contract, pending contract.
pending contract. Okay.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
For like employment or land or,
Services.
Services.
Yeah, it's confidential. Yeah.
Yeah.
litigation.
No, better not be. So,
Sure, for what?
Dale, gracias.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Dale.
Tomas,
Thanks, Tom.
tambien.
Hanson.
Thank you.
I think we were emailing about the